Hey, y'all. I'm going to continue with my hostile work environment story. So, anyway, after my meeting with Rebecca, she assured me that things were going to change. So, when Nadine got back in the office, Rebecca pulled her over to the conference room for a meeting. So, I think this was like the day before Nadine was the day the day after she got back from vacation, I think. Anyway, they were gone for about 30 minutes and they came back in the office. And I mean, I was nervous, y'all. I knew Nadine was going to take this out on me. So, when they got back to the office, Nadine sat down at her desk, and I was sitting there at mine, and Rebecca was standing in the doorway. I mean, we had one extra seat in that office. That's how small it was. But anyway, she was standing there getting ready to go, and she said, "Now, Deborah, these are your duties." And she, you know, reeled off a list of all these things that were my duties. A lot of them were things that Nadine was not allowing me to do. And Rebecca had told me she's going to have a reprimand in her file. Well, I was glad about that, y'all, because I didn't deserve that kind of treatment. I mean, I was a hard worker. I did everything I could to get along with this woman. I remember one time, well, early on when I first started, uh, one of the volunteers had brought me some flowers for my desk. Just a little, uh, vase of flowers that probably had three flowers in it and a twig of something else. I don't know, but it was a really small, like a little nosegay. And I thought that was so sweet of her. So, immediately, I mean, before I could get sit down, I had that little vase of flowers in my hand. And she said, "You can't have those flowers in here. I'm allergic." Well, she was allergic to my hair products. She was allergic to my laundry detergent. She was allergic to everything, y'all. I remember one time she bought me odorless detergent to wash my clothes with. And she bought me some odorless mousse for my hair. Now, y'all, I had such a long list of stuff that she said and did to me that really most people would have gotten fired for that. But she was old. No offense, ladies, we're all there now. But she was older. She had been with the organization for a long time. And if you try to fire a senior citizen that has been there for such a long time, there's this little plane up here, y'all. Let me show you. I don't think you can see it. You probably can't see it. I don't think it's a real plane. I think it's one of those gas things. But anyway, it was doing some loop-de-loos over there. So, I mean, it was insane. So, you know, there were times when she was nice to me and we talked about her life and my life, and things seemed to go along for a few days pretty good, but I knew it wouldn't last. She waited a while. She was really good for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after she got her talking to from Rebecca, and then she kind of started in again. Well, she knew that I was waiting on some paperwork from the child support department because I had petitioned for an increase in child support because I had never done that before. But since my husband and I separated and I was working a part time job, um, I needed that extra child support. So, anyway, she knew I was waiting on a little packet of paperwork, and the child support people were going to fax it to me. Now, y'all, Nadine made personal phone calls all the time. She faxed things back and forth. She used office supplies for personal use. So you can't come at me saying that I should not have been using the fax machine for personal reasons. And I waited and I waited and I waited for this paperwork. And I called the child support people and I said, I still haven't, y'all were going to fax over a packet to me. And she said, well, we did. We faxed it over like a week ago. So I said, well, I'll look around in my inbox, but I'm pretty sure I do not remember. I would have gotten them right back to you. So anyway, I was really stressed out about that, y'all. So I was making some copies of stuff, and we used our copy paper. If it was going to be personal, not personal, but just for office use, then we would use the backside of a piece of copy paper. If we put something in the recycle next to the copy machine, we would just use the backside to be conservative. So I went over and I was going to make a bunch of copies, and I picked up a handful of the recycled copy paper. And what should I find in there on the bottom was my packet of child support information. She had taken that fax off the machine and hid it down in the bottom of that paperwork. Well, that was it. That was it. She was messing with my livelihood. So I called, and Rebecca was out, and I left a message, and I said, I need to have a meeting with you right away and Peggy from HR. I need to see both of you together. I was so mad, y'all. I was so mad. And I said, I'm not going to be coming to work tomorrow. That was Nadine's day off when I found my paperwork. So they called me in the next day for a meeting, and I told them what she had done. I was shaking. I mean, shaking. I was so angry. She already had one reprimand in her file. So Rebecca said, Deb, give us a day or two to think this through, and we'll come up with a solution. Now, the solution for them, was to get rid of Nadine. Now, that for sure would have been cause for termination right there, y'all. So I called the labor board and I explained the situation to them. And the lady at the labor board told me, you need to come into our office because that is a clear case of hostile work environment. So I said, okay. The day after that, Rebecca and Peggy called me on a conference call, and they said, Deb, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move you over here to the corporate office. I was really happy about that, except for the fact that I was the one that was going to have to make a change. And the fact that it was going to be a 30-minute drive for me one way. So that was an hour a day I was going to have to commute, and I was going to have to use gas for. as opposed to the 10 minutes where I was. So they moved me over to the corporate office. And y'all, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. I was so happy over there. And so many wonderful people, and they were so welcoming. I mean, y'all know how gossip travels through an organization. And I had people coming up to me saying, I'm not surprised she treated you like that. I don't know how you stood it so long. Blah, blah, blah. And I tried not to talk about it because it really was so upsetting to me. So that is what happened. And later on, someone showed me a copy of the reprimands that had been in her file. Someone who worked in HR showed them to me. One more time and that lady would have lost her job. Frankly, I think she should have lost it the second time. But she was an old lady, y'all, and her health was getting bad. And you know what? I really didn't want her to lose her job. So, that's my story. And it was a very, very tense few months in my work history. If I had not had my son to consider and take care of, I would have walked out of that place so fast her little head would have been spinning. There's another thing that happened to me in that organization, but that's something I can't talk about because I signed a non-disclosure agreement. But again, it was a hostile work environment. Now, I could have sued this organization 2 different times, y'all. I talked to the labor board both times. But I love the organization. I love the people there. The second time, it was a personal vendetta by somebody who was suffering from a mental illness. Bipolar, to be specific. But when people don't take their medication, I'm telling you, they're not who they are supposed to be. But anyway, y'all, that's it for now. And I don't mean to have videos that are downers, but y'all know we don't all live in La La Land. I mean, I do live in La La Land occasionally. But I hope y'all are doing something fun today. Miss Hazel, are you ready to go home? She doesn't even know. She's looking at me. You want me to pick you up? Okay. Oh, goodness. I got to pick her up, sweeties. Oh, you made it. Good girl. Good girl. She was trying to jump up on the seat, but the leather is slippery for her. I love y'all. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.